Hello everyone, welcome to Code and Learn. In this video, we are going to look at LeetCode Problem 26, removing duplicates from a sorted array. I know it's an easy problem, but I wanted to go over because these easy problems will help us build us techniques that will help us solve harder problems. In this one, we are using iterating over array with 2 pointers. So the problem statement says that given an integer array sorted in a non-decreasing order. A non-decreasing order means that the order will be ascending, but there can be duplicates in the array. We need to remove the duplicates in place such that each unique element appears only once. The problem statement also mentioned that the relative order of elements should be kept the same, and we need to return the number of unique elements in the array. So we don't need to return an array, but instead the number of elements in the array, which will be used to compare that the result that we have sent is what is expected from the solution. Now for example, let us have an array with duplicate elements. So I will have 1, 2, 2, 3. To solve this problem, what we are going to use is a 2-pointer approach. So we are going to use I and j. I will be used to keep track of unique elements, while j will be used to iterate over the array. So what we will do is we will start with I at the 0 index and j at I plus 1. Next, what we will do is we will compare the elements at I and j. If they are not equal, we will move I to the next index, which is here in this case, and then swap the elements of I and j. So at the end of first iteration, the array remains the same, but we have moved I to here and j is still sitting here. In the next iteration, we will repeat the same process, but this time j has moved to next element. So we do the same thing. We compare the elements at I index and j index. If they are not the same, we would move I to this index and do a swap. But in case, since they are the same, we do nothing. So in our next iteration, we will have the same array, that is 1, 2, 2, 3, and I will be still sitting at 2 while j is moved to 3. Now again, we do a comparison. Is 2 is equal to 3? Since both the elements are unique, we repeat the same process, that is, I is moved to I plus 1 and we perform a swap with j. In the end, the array you will have is 1, 2, since we made the swap 3 and 3, and I will be here while j is here. Since we have reached the end of array, we can stop our iterations. Now what is the number of unique elements in this array? That is equal to I plus 1. Since I here is the index, to calculate the number of unique elements, we need to add 1. As such, return I plus 1. Since we are doing this in place and not using any external memory or data structure, the space complexity of this solution is O of 1, while the time complexity is O of n, where n is the number of elements in the array. That is because we had to iterate over all the elements in the array to find the solution. Now let us have a look at the solution with code. First, let us create a function, func remove duplicates, which takes an int array a and returns the int, which is the number of elements that are unique in the array. First, let me initialize I to the first index, that is 0. I can say, in our case, I is the slow pointer to keep track of unique elements. Next up, let us iterate through the array with the help of j. For j is equal to 1, that is the index next to I. J less than equal to len a j plus plus. Let me change this to nums to reflect what is there on LeetCode. Now inside the loop we check if nums I not equal to nums j. That means we have found a unique element. In this case, we increase I and then set the value of element at index I to element at index j. Nums I is equal to nums j. For cases when we have found the duplicate, we do nothing. And at the end, we return I plus 1. So that is the solution here. Just to go over it, we start with the slow pointer, which is I, in our case set to 0 or the first element in the array. Then we iterate over the array using j, starting from the index next to I. Inside each iteration, we check if nums I is equal to nums j. If it's not, we have found a unique element. As such, we make a swap. Otherwise, we do nothing and move on to the next element. In the end, we return I plus 1, which should be the number of unique elements in this array. Let us try this out with a small program. Int 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So I have created a nums int array which has elements 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Now let us call remove duplicates with nums. I don't care about the return value as we are only doing this for testing. Now let us do fmt println nums. In this case, we should expect everything that is unique, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4, move to the first 4 indices. Go run main.go, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3 were moved to the first 4 indices of the array. So that's it for our solution. Please feel free to ask any questions by posting a comment under the video or reaching out to our Discord server. Until next time, happy coding!